What was it about this character, this story, and everything in between that kind of made you want to get involved with this one?
Well, I saw the play in 2009 maybe 5 or 6 times because Uncle Che, who I called my uncle, he would give me free tickets to go and see the play. I knew Rinze, I've known him for 10 years. He's the first actor I ever made friends with in my whole life. Ronke, who plays my best friend in the show, is my best friend in real life. So there were many, many pulls. And then I think as I continued, I began to realize the significance of, things like I decided to shave my hair for the part because I'm like, there's a lot of romantic leads that have hair to do this with and this and this. And I thought, no, I want to do something a bit different to help the younger girls who are looking for something that looks a bit more like them, or something that looks a bit less commercially beautiful, So that became very significant to me.
I mean, it's been a bit of a renaissance, should I say, of musicals with La La Land and The Greatest Showman. I mean, you guys are ideally placed because you're a little bit different. Are you hoping that you kind of transcend and that you get a big audience because of that?
You know what, I don't know. I don't really, when I do a show, I don't really, to be honest, I don't think about views or figures. I'm not a producer on the show. I wanted to make a story and I wanted my character to be authentic and to genuinely connect with the other actors. Whatever happens after that is whatever happens.
It's a really vibrant, really colourful movie, but I just wanted to ask you about your character and Gil and what you kind of connected with him when you first read the script.
The thing that actually got me most excited was, firstly I thought the script was beautiful and just a real celebration of all aspects of life and love, all the good bits, all the sort of sticky bits, and just that it was a celebration more than anything. But what Tinge did is she put a sizzle reel together for the film to kind of give you a sense of the vibe. And the vibe of each character, within the sizzle reel there'd be almost like a trailer, you'd get an intro to each character. And it was cut together from a series of music videos and other, mainly British films. And Gil's was this really sort of strange physicality and it kind of slightly warped sense. The kind of sizzle reel took a bit of an odd turn at that point for his couple of seconds introduction. And I just thought, I was so thrilled by the possibility of all the visual reference that Tinge was going at that I just would love to, wanted to be a part of that.
How challenging it is to be in a musical? I mean, it's challenging as an actor at the best of times with characters, but when you add the musical element on, does that add a lot of different challenges for you? And what was maybe the biggest one?
It's kind of it's scary, but then by the same token, it's actually once you kind of give over to it, it's a really amazing way to express yourself. It's like kind of singing's. It's like sort of saying something you're worried about saying. It's a bit nervous before you do it, and then when you do, it actually feels really good. It's sort of it's an amazing release, and I think that's why musicals are around. It's a kind of great form. So yeah, I mean that it is. I guess the most difficult bit is the nerves beforehand, not being used to doing musicals. But because this is so sort of character driven and so kind of individual in its sort of vibe, I guess, that we were kind of able to navigate that just by it being what it is,
I mean, you've had a great career so far, and you've had some very diverse projects. Your next one with Russell Crowe, and Ned Kelly, I believe it is, and Charlie Hunnam. This amazing cast and a great director. I mean, how's that experience been working on, I guess, a bigger production, but also with bigger actors like Russell Crowe?
Oh, it's been amazing. It was incredible learning experience working with Justin, so I feel so blessed to have had that experience, and we'll see. It was only just recently done, so hopefully it turns out all right.
Yeah, it's a really vibrant, really colourful, upbeat movie. I can imagine it was very easy to say yes to this when you got the script for the first time.
Yeah, 100%. It was easy, but also it was terrifying because I was like, they do know I can't sing, right? But hopefully a lot of my songs don't mean that I have to, so. But there's one song towards the end where I definitely had to sing, and I was like, that was hard. But luckily I had an amazing creative team that loved on me in ways that allowed me to feel comfortable enough to just try, at least, So yeah, that was fun.
It's based on a play. I mean, were you familiar with it beforehand?
I know Che very well. He's one of the most incredible people I've ever come across. I know Michaela, I know Rinze, so it was like working with family every day. So going to set wasn't a problem. I was happy to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and just, get there. It was when they weren't around that I felt a bit like, where is all of my friends? But yeah, I knew the play. I loved the play. I think because Che was in my second round of auditions when I was auditioning for drama school. And because I had met him before that, he was like, oh, hi. And I was like, hey, bro. So that was...
Yeah. How you doing? No, you look
wicked. You're doing really well.
Eric, this is George.
Hey, mate.
This is Eric. My boyfriend George he plays Gil in the movie.
Okay, wicked.
You saw it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. Okay.
Musicals having such a great kind of reinvention and rebranding, all these movies, Great Showman, La La Land. I mean, this one seems ideally placed for people to see, and also with Netflix, lots of different countries are going to get to see it as well.
Yeah. What was the question?
There wasn't a question there, was there? I was distracted by George Mackay.
You must be. Great. You need to interview him.
I mean, you must be delighted that so many people across the globe are going to get access to see the movie.
I am, but also I'm terrified. It's like, I was born in Hackney, raised in Barking. Like, I'm going to be sat in my house and all of these people in like Brazil are going to be watching my face, and that makes me feel a bit anxious because I've never been able to comprehend how many people exist in the world. Like, London is a bubble for me. And when you get up in the plane and you see all of these lights disappear and you go, oh my God, these are all these lives and they're all intricate and they're all doing their thing. So I get a bit nervous knowing that there are millions, billions of people that might have access to it. I just hope they feel something. I hope they love it as much as we do.
You must be delighted that not only it's coming out and it's going to be on Netflix and everything else, but to be at the London Film Festival must be doubly exciting.
Yeah, it's beyond my wildest dreams. We were talking about it earlier, how we started with no money and just begging rooms and playing on the piano and grabbing time when we could. And 8 years later, we're here, which is, extraordinary.
And it's the right place to put it out as well. It's such a London story, and it comes from your past growing up here, and it feels really fitting to have that, to have it here and to have it be in front of all these people.
And this lovely hedge.
This real hedge.
I know, I'm really upset.
I've been picking at it for about an hour.
Let's try and smoke this.
Yeah.
And Michaela is an ex-student, and Arinze is an ex-student, and also Ronke is an ex-student. So to be part of their journey when they were finding their power, and now unquestionably they have definitely grown into their power. They've definitely grown into the power. So it just feels like a family event, which is really, really cool.
What was your reaction when you heard there was going to be a film, and then when you see the film for the final time? Because it's so vibrant and so full of colour and music and everything else. Well, you must have been delighted with how it turned out.
I was dancing around my apartment in my underpants, just having a great time. Yeah, I was thrilled, really, really thrilled. Yeah.
It's a slightly surreal experience, actually.
It is.
It's really emotional, actually.
It is. It was my first play. I was 27 when I wrote the first draft. And so I've lived with these characters all my life. They're based on people I grew up with. And so, it's emotional. And then also to work with Arthur, because I knew Arthur when he was very young, when he was still studying. And it feels like a...
Yeah, it's been such a long journey. Yeah. And it's a very personal bit of work for everyone involved. And to have people we love in it and people, of every generation that we've known, it's amazing.
And also, I mean, you've got the cinema release, but also Netflix, such a great platform for other places in the world that might not get to see it.
In their pants,
on
the loo,
they can watch it on their phones.
On their phone,
we don't mind.
In their minds, on their mind phones.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it.
But different countries that maybe would never see this film get access to go and see it. I mean, that must be equally, amazing for you in the sense that
it's very exciting. I mean, I've been living in Los Angeles for a little while, and Michaela is huge in LA. They all know her. All the young actors that I'm working with, they all know who she is. So it's great. It's great. International
indeed. Just quickly, I wanted to ask you, obviously you worked with Jodie Whittaker on Broadchurch and Doctor Who yourself. She's had such a great debut, huge numbers. I mean, as a friend and as a colleague that you worked with her for, you must be delighted that so many people have embraced her so far.
She's one of the nicest people in the world and one of the best actors I know, so I'm just over the moon for her. I haven't watched it yet, I can't wait to see it, but yeah, she's just brilliant. She's really great.
You must be delighted not only to be in such a vibrant movie, but to have it at London Film Festival, equally special, I can imagine.
Very exciting, yeah. It's my first time at London Film Festival as a punter as well as somebody in a film, so it's really exciting.
It's a big, broad musical, celebrating life, lots of other things. I mean, for you as an actor, what was the biggest challenge when you kind of go into a musical?
Feeling like I can sing, was sort of haven't done for a long, long time. So being told that I sound okay and believing that enough to go out and do a scene with a song in it is probably the biggest challenge for me personally, yeah.
In the UK at the moment, there's obviously lots of different things going on politically and everything else. This is one of those movies that's so much fun, has so much life to it, that it would be such a great experience for people to kind of lift the gloom, if you like.
Yeah, I hope so. And the fact that it's set in London now and it's a sort of good news story You know, it can feel quite bleak at the moment, particularly if you're, you know, in this kind of world, in this industry, and if you identify as being part of the left, it feels like quite a dark time. But this is definitely a film to brighten people's day, I hope.
And also you got the inclusion of Netflix, which is such a great platform, and for some of these movies that maybe wouldn't get seen in some countries, now it means you get such a great audience for people to enjoy it in places that maybe wouldn't have done.
Exactly, yeah, and it means my mum can see it without leaving the house.
That's pretty good, cup of tea and everything else. And you've had great success with Poldark, that continues to go. Do you still get a buzz off of that?
Yeah, we're filming yesterday, we're filming again tomorrow and the day after. Yeah, it's I'm really fortunate, and I feel very lucky that the public have embraced it enough to give us 5 series, and we're looking forward to rounding off in style.
You must be delighted with the reaction you've had so far and to be part of the film festival.
It feels really wonderful. I mean, like having our launch here, we've been so supported by the BFI in terms of how this film comes out to the world, and Netflix has been a huge support as well. It's been amazing from that perspective. They've really helped us. It's like a kind of midwifing process where they connect us to the audience in a really lovely way. And it's been really lovely that the people who have seen it have really connected to the story that we were aiming to tell, like the message that we have of love and redemption and hope. But you know, from a gritty place, is really communicating.
I mean, you must be delighted with Netflix's inclusion, that not only is it going to get released in the UK and other places, but so many people around the world are going to see it and going to be able to embrace it that maybe wouldn't have done under normal circumstances.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the breadth of their reach is incredible. So, you know, what's great is we do have a theatrical release. Bird's Eye View are taking it out on a tour of cinema, so it will reach, you know, our 5-1 mix will connect to cinema audiences who want that kind of communal event experience, and at the same time we'll get that experience of just connecting to large volumes of people all over the world. So it's amazing, yeah.
I can imagine filmmaking is a strenuous process anyway, but when you add the fact that it's a musical with all these big musical numbers and everything else, I mean, was that more daunting for you as a director to take on something like that, or did you find it quite liberating to do something so big?
Yeah, I'd say liberating.
They're making quite a comeback at the minute, musicals, with all these amazing kind of American musicals and everything else. You guys are quite nicely placed to thread into that in many ways.
Really lucky, actually. The timing was really good. Where we came on that wave, if you think of it like surfing, the wave of where La La Land came, the timing of it for us to paddle with ours was really good, because people, La La Land hadn't come out while we were pitching the project, but people were really aware that it was being made. Like in the industry, people knew that Damien's next film was this film, and it was a musical, and people had, it made it a bit easier, I think, for the financiers to connect to it, maybe.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yeah.
Nice.
Hey